Citi FM. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Eno Saho.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, Alan Chamantin's campaign team raises and discovers ineligible voters in the album for the Super Delegates Congress of the party. We'll tell you the names that are featured on the list, which list includes Chief of Staff Frema Ose Opari. Also coming up, it appears the troubles within the National Cathedral will not be going away anytime soon. Parliament has set up an ad hoc committee to probe the whole structure. And later on Eyewitness News, Ghanaian truck drivers plying their trade in troubled Niger, stranded on the border with Benin. We'll be speaking to them live. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more of this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
National Petroleum Authority to begin revised cylinder recirculation policy from September, with 4 bottling plants ready to be operationalized.
That's in 50 minutes from the City Business Desk. Nilate will be back with the details. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations, including in the Upper West region on Tungsum 97.3 FM in Wa, as well as Jirapa 96.1 FM in Jirapa. In Upper East region on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. In Northern region on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM. In Volta region on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajevu, as well as VOV Radio 95.7 in Hohwe. In Ashanti region, we are on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Suyani. In the Western region, on Adwinpa 100.7 FM in Takwa, Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady, and Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrady. We are live across the globe on citynewsroom.com. We are also on YouTube. Do look for CityTube. We are on Facebook. You can join us. The show is interactive. If you want to use X, which is a new name for Twitter, the hashtag is CityNewsroom. The handle is @UmaruSanda or @City973. On WhatsApp, the number is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And the first one has to do with the New Patriotic Party. The party is preparing to go for a congress, a mini one that would cut down the list of contestants from 10 to 5, and I mean people who are looking to be flag bearer of the party. Now, ahead of that, the party provided the full album of voters to the various campaign teams. All 10 candidates have been given the folder containing the names of people who are going to vote. That folder given to them on a pen drive. The Alan Kwadwo Chamantin team has picked that pen drive last week. I remember I spoke to Nana Ohininto and he said he was going to pick that the following day or so. It appears that they have seen some discrepancies on that, which has made them write a letter addressed to the chairman of the Presidential Elections Committee of the NPP, making specific demands. This letter was signed by Nana Ohininto, who is head of elections and planning as well as management. Now, in that letter, they highlight a number of issues they've discovered with the album. They talk about an audit of the register for eligibility that they conducted and which they believe has resulted in the discovery of problems. Let me read excerpts of the letter for actually, let me rather go on the phone lines and understand exactly what the party, the group, the campaign is trying to do. One of the frontline campaigners of Alan Kwadwo Chamantin is a member of parliament for Botiano, English Yamanfro. is Honorable Sylvester Tete. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Now, this letter that we are just looking at, signed on August 2nd, appears to have identified or is listing problems that you have identified. Walk us through what you did with the data that was given you by the party on the pen drive and the subsequent issues that you have raised since.
Well, thank you very much and good evening to your listeners. I think this is a letter to the National Elections Committee, and I think it's unfortunate that this issue has to be discussed in the public domain. I think these are things we've identified based on the directive of the General Secretary of the party and is in line with our constitution and the regulations pertaining to the election. Every election, the electoral register is given to the aspirant, and then you go through if there's any anomaly found in the register. You draw the attention of the Elections Committee to it. We've identified some anomalies in certain regions, and we've communicated same to the National Elections Committee, which we are hopeful that will be addressed in accordance with the regulations pertaining to the election.
I noticed that you have about, 5 names in there. Are you suggesting that those people ought not to be on the register at all, or where they are, they should not be put there, so that the party ought to remove them completely?
Yeah, they ought to have removed them completely because the guidelines are that if a member of the party, an executive in any position from national to the polling station is deceived, the regulations are that you do not replace the person until National Council advise otherwise. So that communique was given to the party, and in the Upper East region, the regional research officer is deceived. So nobody has the power to replace him until the National Council advises otherwise. So that we've drawn the attention of the Elections Committee based on the regulations of the General Secretary to the party and communicate to the party. So we're just following that. And you observe, our Chief of Staff is not a member of the National Executive Committee. She's been captured as a Chief of Staff, as a voter. We've also drawn the attention to that again. In the Ashanti region, the second regional vice chairperson, Victoria Nyanko Kusi, has been duplicated as Victoria Owusu, a child, a redesign in the same album. So these are things that we are drawing the attention to it. And again, in Central region, the Infantiman regional chairman deceased and the founding member, Kwesi Chere, also deceased, remain in the regional register, but the names are not eligible to be on the register. So these are things that we are drawing the attention to. And of course, the directors at the party headquarters, with respect to the director of IT, director of elections, director of legal affairs, these are not members of NEC, and they have been captured as eligible voters. So we've drawn attention to the National Elections Committee, and we are confident that their names will be expunged from the register.
On the issue of the Chief of Staff, she's a former member of Parliament. Is she not qualified under that criteria?
No, former members of Parliament are not eligible. It's only sitting members of Parliament that are eligible. So if you're a former member of Parliament, you are not eligible voter.
And you are also saying that she's not a member of the Council of Elders of the party? How so?
No,
because we are told that she goes for meetings and all of that.
You may go. You may be invited into a meeting, but it doesn't give you the status as a member of that National Executive Committee. Her position politically, she can be invited, but she's not. There's nothing like a Chief of Staff as eligible in our scheme of things. So she could be a national patron or a council of elder. In that category, she's eligible to vote. But if she's captured in the wrong rendition as a Chief of Staff, and that makes her qualified to vote, that I'm afraid is not correct in the regulations of our elections.
So you recognize her as being a member of the NEC, but not a legal member who can vote?
She's not a member of NEC. May invite any member of the party as and when in deemed fit. The fact that you are invited as an ex-official member does not qualify you as a member of NEC.
All right. So she's neither qualified as former member of Parliament. She's not qualified. So who are the members of NEC, though, for purpose of education?
Yeah, for purpose of education, the constitution of our party is clear. All national executive members, all regional chairmen, founding fathers, these are members of NEC. It has been stated categorically, and no place has been mentioned of a Chief of Staff.
This letter you have written to the party, have you got any response yet, even if it's unofficial?
We are yet to get a response from them, but we are hopeful that they will do the needful.
Very well. Thank you so much. But otherwise, the campaign is going well?
Excellently well.
And your own campaign in your backyard, any challenges coming up?
I haven't started campaigning yet. I'm working as a member of parliament, and I'll represent the good people of Botiano English Amafo again in the 9th parliament of the 4th Republic.
And you are not seeing contestants coming up because of the work you're doing?
Well, obviously, people may express interest. Everybody and the kind of dream they have and what time of the day they have their dreams. But the reality is on the ground.
We'll see what happens. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
You're welcome.
That's a member of parliament for Botiano English Amafo, who is a member of the Alan Kojo Tramantin campaign team, Sylvester Tete. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We've tried to hear from the New Patriotic Party Elections Committee on what it makes of this claim that has been made by the Alan Kojo Tramantin campaign team. We've not been successful in getting a comment, but a number of names presented to the party as being names that the group believes or the campaign believes should not be on the list. In Upper East Region, they say the Upper East Regional Research and Elections Officer, Edward Nabil, is deceased and he's been replaced with Daniel Ziba as an appointee. They do not think that should happen. In Central Region, they say Mfansiman Chairman Gibrine Adams is deceased, and the founding member Kwesi Tre is also deceased, but their names still on the register. Volta Region, they say that the deceased Adaklu constituency chairman Shaku Seth has been replaced with the Adaklu constituency first vice chair. They don't think that's correct. In Ashanti region, they say the second regional vice chairperson, Victoria Nyakunkosi, has been duplicated as Victoria Owusu Achiao. And so that's one of the issues they have there. And then redesignated in the same album as regional representatives to the National Council. The identity needs to be rectified, they say. Then if you go to the National Executive Committee, NEC, they say the Chief of Staff has been listed to vote under this category of NEC. However, per the Constitution, the office of the Chief of Staff is not part of the NEC. Therefore, the Honorable Chief of Staff is not entitled to vote. Then they have chairpersons of standing committees of National Council. It says there must be clarity on the eligibility status of appointed chairpersons of committees of National Council. Then finally, it says scanning for electronic photographic devices. Specific responsibility for scanning for electronic devices to be vested in the police service. Alan for President would be grateful to have the above taken into consideration. Signed, Nana Ohinito. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll return with more. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Papa!
Bobo, so how your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that?
Yes, so
somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched.
Sancho Panzapa. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz?
No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer.
Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design?
It's superb.
Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency.
Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman Mane. Chairman. Hey,
Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
Whether I'm passing by the food market, visiting the salon, or filling up my tank for a spontaneous adventure with old friends in a new city, when asked, cash or card, it's always card for me. I switched from cash to card for all my payments with MasterCard. Now I get to do what I enjoy with ease.
Switch from cash to card for all your payments with MasterCard. MasterCard, the secure and convenient way to pay.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM broadcasting from Adabraka in Accra. Let's talk about the National Cathedral now. The President's priority of priorities, which still remains underground between the Ridge Roundabout and the House of Parliament, close to the Office of Special Prosecutor. We're told that Parliament has given the green light for an ad hoc committee to be set up to conduct an inquiry into the National Cathedral project. There are 5 members of Parliament, actually 6, who filed a private member's motion demanding the probe. One of them is, you can call him the chief campaigner against the National Cathedral, Samuel Okujetu Ablakwa. He's MP for North Tongue. He's joined me on the line. Honorable, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Hi, Umaru. Thank you for having me.
This latest campaign against the cathedral is filed by you and 5 other colleagues, we are told. What is your intent?
Well, it's a campaign against the rot or the irregularities or the procurement breaches or the lawlessness or the conflict of interest and all of those ills, those sins. So let's be clear. It's not an opposition per se about a temple of God, even though Ghana has thousands of temples of God. And if we had had a national discussion, I'm not sure the Ghanaian people will have said that should be the president-elect priority of priorities. So it's really about all of the rot, the canker, the scandals that have plagued this project. And today is a great day. I am so excited that both sides of the House have agreed that we should have this national inquiry, which will be a full-scale parliamentary probe into the Cathedral project. I would like to also commend the Speaker for his wisdom, commend leadership of both sides of the House, and of course, the Ghanaian people who have been very, very supportive in this campaign. At the end of the day, it is about the public purse. Remember that as we speak, $58 million has been spent, and all we see is a big hole. We have sadly been mocked within the Committee of Nations by the international community that we are now hosting the world's most expensive hole. In addition to what has been spent, the $58 million, which we don't believe we have got value for money for, we have now outstanding claims. The last time I did some checks, there are outstanding claims up to $52 million. So don't confuse the two figures. $58 million is what has been spent so far, and we have that big hole. Now, because of how terrible the contract is, there are all kinds of accruals, suspension claims, interest payments, and all of that, as the project has stalled. Remember that for more than 17 months now, the project is not going on. Now, accruals run into $52.2 million the last time I checked, and it's still rising. That is why a couple of months ago, I called on the president to abrogate the contract so that we can cut our losses. The president refuses to listen, and the liabilities continue to increase. Then you need to also consider the fact that, Umaru, this has been the most reckless model adopted for any national project. Why do I say so? There have been massive demolitions. The Scholarship Secretariat was demolished. The Passport Head Office was demolished. Judicial Training Institute was demolished. Judges' bungalows were also demolished, leading to a prominent appeal court judge retiring in protest, resigning in protest. Then you also have the Malian ambassador, whose residence was demolished. As we speak, the Malians are piling pressure for a replacement of their ambassador's residence, which could degenerate into a diplomatic role. Then we also have private investors, Comsys IT firm, and then Waterstone Realty. Waterstone Realty, they are already in court demanding compensation. Judgment debt is going to run into millions. The last time I checked, I think they were demanding not less than $20 million. So it's been such a reckless exercise. And I'm not surprised that already prominent priests have resigned from the board of trustees. So if there's any scandalous project in anywhere in the world that requires a probe, it is this project. And I'm glad that Parliament has woken up to its duties. We are the protectors of the past, and we are constitutionally mandated to carry out oversight, financial oversight, more specifically. And I'm glad that we are going to begin a full-scale independent inquiry into these National Cathedral matters. Don't forget that there are so many other layers I haven't talked about. The PPA responding to my right to information request, confirming that they didn't have a hand in this project, so no PPA approval, a breach of the procurement laws. Then remember the double identity scandal, which is a whole, kind of worms on its own, the conflict of interest and all of that. I can go on and on all night. I mean, I don't think that there's been any project that has been plagued by scandals like this project. And potentially, don't forget, Umaru, we are talking about the most expensive project ever undertaken in the entire history of Ghana. Not Akosombo, not Tamamoto Way, not our harbors. None of them compare. If you look at the potential already, the $400 million has been way exceeded. If you look at current projections, the trustees are saying they need $100 million just for steel, to import steel alone. I mean, can you imagine what $100 million can do under this bankrupt IMF economy? And then you have all of these people on the sidelines waiting to be compensated, all these buildings, embassy, private property owners who are yet to be compensated. So this project is potentially Ghana's most expensive endeavor. And it's unimaginable that President Akufo-Addo, who told us that he was coming to protect the public purse, it is under his watch that we have such a mess.
I see. The Minister of Finance was dragged before the House of Parliament to be probed as to why he should not be removed during the censure hearings. I recall one of the key issues he had to respond to and defend was the payments that were advanced towards the building of the cathedral. If a committee of Parliament and subsequently the whole of the House of Parliament went through that whole censure motion, and based on the vote and how it turned out, you would see that he was not found to be culpable. What new thing are you going to be bringing out now, which you did not bring out when you grilled the minister, who is the man who, polices our public purse in relation to the building of this cathedral?
So you recall that the finance minister's vote of censure hearings had a wide array of issues that were before us. I think there were about 7 grounds. And the National Cathedral, his role related to the unconstitutional payments because there was no parliamentary approval. And we contended that it was a violation of Article 178. You cannot spend without parliamentary approval. So that was a very narrow aspect. which, his explanation was not accepted by the House, that he decided to use a contingency vote. This project cannot be contingent. Contingency is something that you don't anticipate, something that is unforeseen, some happenstance, something that just occurs, This is a project that the president dreamt about, even had a conference with God, as he claims, and announced to the nation, set up a board of trustees, then delivered all kinds of speeches in Ghana and abroad, did fundraising. A multiple-year project. You cannot classify this as contingency. So even that finance minister's response is still outstanding, that this House is not satisfied with. But that is just one aspect. Now we are going to, if you look at the rendition of this motion, we are talking about the entire Cathedral project and all related matters. If you have followed my serialization of all the scandals, right from we won't use public funds to using public funds without parliamentary approval, then you go into how the whole project has gone, the inflationary pricing. David Ajayi's over $30 million that he has pocketed under all kinds of shady circumstances, to all the procurement breaches. All of these matters, including double identity, conflict of interest, and the demolitions and compensation, they all didn't come up under the vote of censure because, for that one, the grounds were very limited. And the finance minister's role was just one aspect in terms of release of funds. But now we are going to look at everybody's role, right from the presidency, lands minister who was spearheading demolitions, to lands commission. We are going to look at all of these contractors and going to really assess the value of work done, to the role of board of trustees, the secretariat, all those who are paid to man that place, the decisions that they made. Then they are collaborators in the United States of America. You have Carrie Summers, who is keeping $6 million for no work done. So it has so many layers, so many aspects. It's hydra-headed. And for such a probe, you're going to call so many people. It's also impossible to have just one person, the finance minister, deal comprehensively with these issues. So as for that one, call it a drop in the ocean. We are now going to see the real probe to bring in all of these facets which have been missing, people who have not been held accountable for a long time on this project.
And the possible outcomes the possible outcomes of your probe would be that what? The project should halt, or someone should be prosecuted, or what are some of the things?
We are to make recommendations to the House. So for now, I don't want to be accused of prejudicing the work of the committee, but we have a wide ambit. We can recommend anything from suspension of work to sanctions, to prosecution, to even referring people to further institutions, and so many things. Because you see, this project is so hydra-headed. Even those who are demanding compensation, we have to know exactly what our bill is, what the total liability is. As it is now, we really don't know. People can't really tell us within the government exactly how much we owe in terms of compensation. The last time the lands minister appeared before us to answer an urgent question, he claimed that everybody has been compensated. Soon after he left, we started receiving calls from the persons affected that they have not been fully compensated. The Malian ambassador, the Comsys IT firm, all of these people are shocked at the pronouncement being made. So we are going to unravel the truth, and then we'll all know as a country exactly how much this project has cost us. Does it make sense to continue? How do we cut our losses? What is in the national interest? And what lessons should we learn? You see, most importantly, I like lessons. Countries develop based on lessons, reforming the system. What kind of governance architecture do we have that allows such a thing to happen? I don't think this can happen in any other country where a president says he has spoken to God and then he decides. At least we know from Bishop Dakewadmo's resignation letter that it's a president who decided where the project should be sited. How does that happen? It's not subjected to any governance process of approval, no parliamentary approval, no debate, not cabinet, not parliament. The president just decides. We have this imperial, monarchical president who just decides he says so is what happens. He then decides that there should be all these demolitions, and he's not using his money. He's using our money, and yet we don't have a say. And he takes us on this reckless path, thinking that once he mentions God, everybody will back off, forgetting that in the Bible, David was stopped. God said that David was not fit to build a temple for him. So we need governance lessons moving forward and how to reform this whole governance architecture so that we don't have a president one day who says that he has also heard a voice from Tigari or a voice from Nogoko and has decided that he's going to set up some national shrine and then goes on a demolition spree, and then we end up with all of these losses, this total chaos. As we speak now, the replacement of these judges' bungalows, the costs involved, Judicial Training Institute, that the judiciary says they need $50 million. Think about that. $50 million to replace the judicial training. So what kind of system are we running? What kind of governance are we running? That one man can just decide to saddle us with all of this debt. And he just walks away. And we have to live with the consequences. Judges don't have bungalows. Ambassadors can't find their residence. Private developers have lost their investment. Scholarship Secretariat is no more, despite all the great history associated with Scholarship Secretariat. Other jurisdictions, they will protect that property. It will be almost like a UNESCO heritage place, because of all the people who have received government scholarships and what they have come to do for our country. All of that history is wiped out. It's gone. Passport office is all gone. One man's interaction with God. We don't know which God and whether God really said he should go and do this. How do we verify? And yet that is what we are living with. So we need to seriously learn lessons, come up with far-reaching recommendations, which will prevent this from recurring in the future. Any
decision on when you are going to start sitting? And I'm not sure you are part of the committee. So when is the committee going to start sitting?
Why are you saying that?
Because you sponsored the motion. I don't know if also you are also part of the committee. I'm not sure.
It's most likely that I'll be part of it. Most likely.
Okay.
Everybody in Ghana knows that the work I have done on this matter.
Oh, I thought because you are the petitioner, you should not sit in your own court. That's what I thought.
No. I moved the motion. Nothing stops me. Nothing in our standing order stops me from serving.
That's fine.
On the committee.
But the membership has not been settled on yet.
No, we expect the House is on the brief suspension now. When the Speaker returns, we expect the membership to be constituted. And then it's likely that we'll start sitting during the break.
Okay.
So probably in a few weeks.
We hope you put it on live TV so we can watch. Please beg your chairman to beg the Speaker so that we can get to watch it live.
I agree with you. I'm on all fours with you on that. It has to be live. There's enormous public interest.
Thank you.
And it has to be open. It has to be transparent.
Thank you so much. That's the Honorable Samuel Kujetu Ablakwa. He's MP for North Town and one of the 6 members of Parliament who have requested that the House of Parliament sets up a committee to investigate the National Cathedral, which motion has been accepted by the Speaker, and the fine details will be coming out in the coming hours. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Talking about the Speaker, I know you have a story on him, don't you?
Yes, I do. So the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has directed the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, to appear before the Finance Committee of the House with details of the government's debt restructuring program. This follows a private member's motion filed by the Minority Leader, Dr. Kaisala Toforson, and 4 other minority members demanding comprehensive briefing on the exercise. precise. On 5th December 2022, government launched an invitation to exchange the cedi-denominated notes and bonds of the Republic, ESLA PLC, and Dacha Trust PLC for new bonds, which ended on 21st February 2023. Approximately 85% of holders eligible to participate in the exchange tendered their bonds and notes for a total of 82 billion Ghana cedis tendered and exchanged. The government has, however, announced a new domestic debt exchange program for US dollar-denominated bonds, targeting to exchange $809 million of the denominated notes and bonds. Alban Bagbin, in his ruling, urged the Finance Committee to subsequently present its report on the expected engagement with the Finance Minister on the matter to the House for consideration.
You have any intention of amending the motion to rather talk about an update of the implementation of the whole program?
Mr. Speaker, no. Mr. Speaker, the situation has nothing to do with update. Mr. Speaker, we need to understand the contours of the domestic debt restructuring program. Mr. Speaker, and the entire debt restructuring program. Mr. Speaker, the restructuring is aiming at something. It is aiming at debt sustainability. As we speak, our debt is unsustainable. We are not in a position to service our debt. That is why we have defaulted in the payment of our debt obligations. So, Speaker, before you achieve debt sustainability, you will need to go through debt restructuring. The contours, the details of the debt restructuring program is what we are requesting of the minister responsible for finance to actually present to us, and not just an update. An update may be that he has successfully restructured A, B, or C, but that is not what we are looking for. We want him to give us a brief. Because we only have to read in some of the IMF debt sustainability documents for us to understand that we are going to achieve debt sustainability in the year 2028. It's because some of us here are not aware of that information. So when we are debating on those issues, they are handicapped. It is only right that this House get to understand that our debt as we speak is unsustainable, and we are taking step A, B, C, and D to achieve sustainability. And in the period, you have to do A, B, C, and D along the way. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, it is not about update, but he has to present the program, the policy of debt restructuring to us for consideration. Mr. Speaker, that is all what I'm asking for. I have no intention.
Honorable members, I've listened to you. I'll put the question. Those in favor of the adoption of the motion number 29 at page 23 of the order paper, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it.
You heard the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Pay attention, all my Africans and African Americans in the diaspora, plus my white brothers and sisters. What if I told y'all the most trusted real estate company in Ghana, Sukasa, would like to take y'all on a nationwide tour, highlighting prime real estate and investment opportunities. Sukasa builds affordable luxury homes with 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. Come get the real value for your money, plus they have very convenient payment policies with 100% guaranteed cash back. This fully gated or grants and communities include malls, cinemas, and all social amenities, plus 24-hour security. All you gotta do is sign up for the tour for a measly couple $1,000 and come see what could be yours in real life. The African dream is alive. Contact Sukasa on 030-296-0865 or 055-369-7886 at Sukasa GH on all social media platforms. Email info@sukasa.com.gh. The Sukasa experience is also bringing on board a bunch of other property developers, which means patrons get a variety of options to buy from. This is powered by Government of Ghana, Beyond the Return Secretariat, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Works and Housing, Diaspora Affairs, the Office of the President, British High Commission, and the UK Chamber of Commerce. Sukasa, building on trust.
When shopping for a dress, you say,
of course, the low burst line. A little tight by the hips. Covered sleeves. Off shoulder. Definitely.
But when buying anti-malarial drug, you say,
is it not malaria? Give me whatever is available.
Choose your malaria drugs the same way you choose your dress. Always ask for Coartem. It's also available in cherry-flavored dispersible tablets for children. Don't gamble with malaria. Choose right. Choose Coartem. If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor. Malaria testing should be done before treatment. This advert is FDA approved.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. We are also around the globe on CitiNewsroom.com. I'm sure you may have heard by now that Niger is in trouble. There was a coup there. The soldiers have taken over. The president is no more in charge. ECOWAS has sent a warning to the coup leaders, as ECOWAS usually does, to restore the country to democracy. The soldiers can't be bothered. The consequence is that France and other European countries are having to move their nationals out of the capital, Niamey, using a number of flights that they've deployed to go pick their nationals. Now, locally or continentally, or maybe in the sub-region level, our trucks, Ghanaian trucks that are loaded with onion, which had gone there to load onion, you do know that we bring our onion from Niger, are stuck between the Niger and Benin border. We're told that they simply cannot move. I'm just looking at the video that has been shared with us. And in the video, there's a... So this gentleman is one of the drivers. He's speaking Hausa there, saying that they have loaded onions from Niger. They are in a place called Gaya. He said they've been there between 5 and 6 days. Their trucks are stranded and the produce that they are carrying is going bad. Let's speak to one of them. Yakubu Akpenida is a spokesperson for the onion sellers who are stranded there. Yakubu, you're welcome to Citi Eyewitness News in Accra.
Okay, thank you.
Whereabout are you exactly today?
Today I'm in Accra.
You are in Accra. What do you know about your colleagues? Where are they?
Okay, we have loaded our cars from Niger and they are stuck at the Benin border. They are now in Benin and they have blocked the place, the border.
They have they entered Benin or they are still in Niger?
They are entered Benin because Niger border they didn't lock it. Benin border they locked.
Okay. Why has the border been closed?
Okay, I don't know. Benin, we don't know. They said because of the Niger coup that they did there and they have locked the border. That's what we are hearing from them.
Do you know if this has anything to do with the coup in Niger?
What?
Is it because of the coup d'etat in Niger?
I think so. That's what we are hearing from them.
What are your drivers saying to you?
They are saying that yesterday they said they will open the border midnight. And from there, we didn't hear anything. That is why we are calling the authority to trace it. It's not that the onions doesn't want to delay on the route. It will not. So we are calling on the authorities to help us to see whether the Benin people will allow us to open the border for us to bring our onions down to Ghana.
How many trucks are we talking about?
Oh, our trucks are plenty. Our company, our trucks are plenty. There are more than 50.
And they are all carrying onions?
They are all carrying onions.
How regularly do you bring onions from Niger through the routes that you had wanted to use this time?
I particularly every week I used to bring like 3 trucks.
3 trucks every week?
Our company, we used to bring like 20.
And this happens every week?
Yeah, every week.
I see. So now that it is stranded, what does it mean to the price of onions on our market? Would that affect the price and availability of onion?
Now, because the onions have been shortened and the price is going, because if somebody brings more, they are raising it up. The price is going high.
Who can solve your problem?
We are appealing to our president to help us to talk to the Benin people to see whether they can open the border for us.
How about in Niger? Your drivers are not having any problems there, are you?
Oh, Niger, that we have passed through there. So as we pass through there, we are in Benin. So now, when they come to Benin, we will not go back there again. Because the way it is, when we joke, it will be, all our property will be destroyed. Even now, the onions now, as it's sitting down, we are even crying. Because the onions, it don't need to delay 5-4 days in the road. All the down one, all it will rot. That is why we are even crying. If you come to the market, plenty of people are crying. Not easy. Because of that. Hello?
Okay, we wish you all the best. Thank you for speaking to us. We'll return again to see how you are doing and how your trucks are faring. Thank you for speaking to us.
Okay, thank you.
That's Yakubu Akbenida. He's a spokesperson for the Onion Sellers Association. They are stranded. And he's just explained there that it has nothing to do with the coup in Niger, even though they are stranded on the Niger-Benin border. They were transporting onions to Ghana, and then they got stuck in there, as he's just been explaining to us. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Eno, what else do you have?
Some members of parliament from the Upper East and Upper West regions have raised eyebrows over the influx of refugees from neighboring country Burkina Faso in their constituencies and surrounding areas. The lawmakers say the Burkinabés who have been forced to seek refuge in Ghana due to the jihadist attacks in Burkina Faso are engaged in unfavorable practices which pose security threat to their constituents and the nation as a whole. In a statement on the floor of Parliament, the Member of Parliament for Garu Albert Akuka Alazuga, Sisala West, Mohammed Adams, Sukparu, and the Member of Parliament for Tempani, Lydia Lamisi, urged the government to take immediate steps at resolving the concern.
On 8th of April 2023, according to BBC, 44 people were killed in a single attack. AfricanNews.com reported on May 31st that 40 people were killed by these terrorists in different separate attacks. Additionally, on 7th June, just about a month ago, Mr. Speaker, 21 people were murdered, according to France 24. The political instability coupled with its resultant security crisis in Burkina Faso is a disturbing development, which has necessitated the need for citizens of the country to seek refuge in my constituency and other areas around our area.
Many a times when these people enter into our countries, we do not have places to keep them for a temporary, perhaps. Sometimes we are compelled to keep them at schools, which is not a good place for them to be sleeping, because we know that our children are also supposed to go to school. Because we do not have a specific place designated for that purpose, we are compelled to keep them at basic schools. Mr. Speaker, this must be taken seriously by the Ministry of Interior and also the National Security Minister.
Those were some members of parliament calling on government to check the influx of refugees from neighboring Burkina Faso. The minority in parliament has questioned the authority under which the Bank of Ghana wrote off 32 billion Ghana cedis as a result of the domestic debt exchange program in its financial reports for 2022. The BOG has come under intense scrutiny for making losses of over 60 billion Ghana cedis in 2022. Speaking to journalists, ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Isaac Adongo, says the central bank does not have the right to write off losses without a parliamentary resolution.
Yesterday, I heard Addison say that because of he has written off 32 billion. Is that what he said? Go and read Section 53 of the Public Financial Management. And Section 53 of the Public Financial Management Act is very clear. It says that you cannot write off an asset of the state on the books of any covered or public entity without a resolution of Parliament. Otherwise, Otherwise, ECG will write it off. Cocoa will write it off. Everybody will be writing it off. And the public funds will disappear. So the Public Financial Management Act under Section 53, which talks about abandonment of claims and write-off of public funds, is very emphatic. And those monies are public funds. It says, 53.1. The minister shall seek the approval of Parliament to A, abandon or cancel or diminish a claim by the state on any other body. So you write to the Minister for Finance, say that the auditors, when I'm preparing my accounts, you have said that we should write off 32 billion. Please go to Parliament and seek approval for us to write off the 32 billion because they are public funds. You see, Bank of Ghana is not somebody's insurance company. It is not the same as Fidelity Bank or other financial institutions that you can bulldoze your way and write off. These are public funds. They must come to Parliament by a resolution of a simple majority. And the resolution must state the amount involved. It must state how much is written off.
The Member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central also questioned Deloitte and Touche, who are auditors of the Central Bank, for approving the 2022 accounts without a proof of resolution from Parliament.
I want to ask Deloitte and Touche, the auditors of Bank of Ghana, whether they saw any resolution from the Parliament of Ghana authorizing the write-off of 32 billion. And on the basis of which they approved the accounts and expressed the opinion that they expressed on the account. When you are auditing an institution, particularly a public institution, you need to be conversant with all its legal obligations and make sure that the accounts and operations are consistent with its mandate. That you saw 80 billion, you have reported that 80 billion was subjected to DDEP. You did not go to the law of Bank of Ghana to find out whether it has the mandate to give 80 billion to the government of Ghana. And yet you say you have expressed an opinion. I have a difficulty with Deloitte and Touche. These are my colleagues, chartered accountants. And they should know that these are legal covenants governing the Bank of Ghana. And you should have known right away that they have breached their own act by giving money to government that is not consistent with their own law. And you should have expressed an opinion on that. You did it. 2, they are busy writing off 32 billion, and you did not read the Public Financial Management Act to find out where is the authorization for you to write off 32 billion. And you would have seen that there's no resolution from Parliament. And you would have expressed an opinion on those accounts consistent with the breach of the Public Financial Management Act. You did it.
You heard Ranking Member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Isaac Adongo. Now, MultiChoice Ghana has launched a brand new package dubbed GoTV Super Plus to provide its viewers with access to entertainment, lifestyle, and sports content on over 70 channels. Subscribers can also watch all Premier League, Serie A, and La Liga matches on this bouquet. The GoTV Super Plus package costs 255 Ghana cedis. GoTV self-service platforms include the *759# USSD code and payment options such as mobile money services and bank apps. Speaking at the launch in Accra, the managing director of MultiChoice Ghana, Alex Otri, said the introduction of the brand new GoTV Super Plus was in response to customers' requests for more exclusive content.
People have been asking. Sometimes I go to our social media platforms to see the comments from subscribers, and we've seen a lot that most of the GoTV subscribers are saying, can't we get, the Premier League that is on DSTV, everybody's watching on DSTV, can't we get the same on GoTV? So we're blessing. We are bringing GoTV Super Plus, which will have all the Premier League matches. So all the big teams in the Premier League, name them, Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, and all that. All their matches in the Premier League, you will have it on GoTV Super Plus. It's just 255 cedis. So if you have GoTV already, just upgrade to Super Plus, and you have all the matches. Starting from this Sunday, actually, the community show between Manchester City and Arsenal, you'll get everything on GoTV Super Plus.
You heard Managing Director of MultiChoice Ghana, Alex Otri.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by your most comprehensive business website, citibusinessnews.com. My name is Ni Latte. Let's settle for the details now. The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, will from September begin the implementation of the revised cylinder recirculation policy. This first phase is being rolled out 6 years after the approval of the model. According to the NPA, 4 bottling plants are ready for takeoff, hoping to increase capacity by 50% by 2030. The NPA adds that the recirculation program will be implemented alongside the current system until a complete phase-out. Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the NPA, Perry Okujeto, has been outlining plans at a media briefing here in Accra.
So yes, currently our monthly consumption of LPG is about 30,000 metric tons. If you put that into the math, 80,000, if our bottling plants are able to produce 80,000 cylinders per day, if you calculate that per the current demand, we need to feed the system about 50,000 cylinders a day. So the capacity is enough, and we think that at full implementation, this is just the beginning. Like we said earlier, we've issued 8 licenses. We have 4 bottling plants that are currently being constructed. We're looking to have more bottling plants come up, and the capacity is going to increase. We ourselves are targeting to increase by 50% by 2030. So the issue is starting from September and then growing the value chain as we go along.
Perry Okujeto is a Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. Away from that, and the business community says the announcement by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, to increase port tariffs has the propensity to stifle the growth of businesses. The trading community explains that businesses are already bearing the brunt of the prevailing economic challenges and has been taken aback by the decision of the Port Authority to increase tariffs as stakeholders did not reach a conclusive agreement. One such industry player is the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA. Its president, Dr. Joseph Obeng, has been speaking to Citi Business News.
We find it very surprising for them, even now that we're so engaging with them, to go behind it. We haven't brought any consensus and all that for them to implement what they want to implement, especially when they increased the last ones within a year. It is not even more than a year that they increased the tariffs. And so what are they seeking? Are they seeking the destruction of businesses or what? Or the growth of businesses? It is not fair for them to do that. If care is not taken, most of us are going to relocate and do business in the Togo port, where we have some in Ghana. It has happened before, and they have to be very careful, because we cannot continue to behave like this, that it is nobody's business, and that the cost of doing business left and right should be increased and all that.
Dr. Joseph Obeng is the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Still on the tariff adjustment at the port, the Exim Frozen Foods Association is impressing upon the Ports Authority to halt the implementation of the new tariffs. Kwame Obrieje speaks for the association.
As an importer or an exporter, and I would like to say that for this particular conversation, maybe for imports, really, you would have to, the business owner would have to transfer whatever overhead costs they incur in clearing their goods and doing business at the port to the consumer. What it means is that goods become more expensive and people are unable to buy. Even for the person who is bringing the goods into town, the person might not be able to bring the quantity that they ought to bring to meet the local consumption. But I must add that I think that as a matter of urgency, GPHA must halt this decision, must come back to the drawing table, meet with stakeholders. And like we stated in our press release, we were very surprised with how the shippers authorities have handled things, because they are the regulatory agency in the industry. I think that when things like this are happening, the regulatory agency must step in. That is why they are put there as regulators. That is why we pay taxes to them to regulate the space. We need them to be up and doing.
That was a spokesperson for the Exim Frozen Foods Association, Kwame Obri AJ. But the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has been providing some justification for the increase in port tariffs, citing the present global economic crisis, which includes inflationary pressures and the depreciation of the local currency. This was contained in a statement issued today, Thursday, August 3, and signed by Esther Jebidonko, General Manager, Marketing and Corporate Affairs at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The authority said before adopting these tariff increments, it communicated with all relevant stakeholders. Here are excerpts. The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority wishes to clarify as follows that before the implementation of the tariff, there were a series of engagements with the relevant institutions and major stakeholders, including the Ghana Shippers Authority, Ship Owners and Agents Association of Ghana, Freight Forwarding Associations, Ghana Union of Traders Association GUTA, Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, as well as representations from the transit trading community to gather insights and feedback before implementing the tariff increment. The scope of the review was such that some tariff items were not increased, while others were restructured to address the distortions and lack of clarity in the interpretation and application of some tariff items. The Ghana Port and Harbours Authority is equally concerned about the low traffic volumes, but there is no reason for the authority to operate at a loss. Our investigation revealed that the decline in cargo volumes cannot be attributed to the authority's service charges. GPHA's charges are a component of the total cost of cargo clearance in the port. It's about 6%. We are currently conducting a study on the individual contributors and their share to total cost of cargo clearance in our port, so that together we can engage and find possible solutions. Like all other increments done in the past, the rates of increment in this year's tariff adjustment were informed by the outcome of a comparative port tariff studies we conducted in our neighboring ports of Lomé and Abidjan to ensure that at every given time our port will remain competitive in terms of price and quality of services. We wish to note that even with the increment of August 1, 2023, overall, our port tariffs remain competitive compared to our neighbors. Excerpts of a statement by the Ghana Ports and Harbour Authority justifying the increase in port tariffs despite opposition from the business community. And finally, economist Professor Godfrey Bokpin has warned that the lack of sufficient progress in handling Ghana's domestic debt could have adverse implications for the country's external debt restructuring efforts. To address the domestic debt challenges, the government is diligently working towards finalizing the domestic debt restructuring by September 2023. The comprehensive plan, as gathered by Citi Business News, includes concluding the dollar-denominated domestic debt exchange program, Cocoa Bills Exchange, and pension funds by the end of next month. In addition to the domestic debt restructuring, the government is actively engaging in negotiations with the independent power producers to ensure a successful program is implemented as soon as possible. Here is economist and a lecturer of finance at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfrey Bokpin.
We've seen government's posture with respect to the first round of the domestic debt testing. What will be critical will be the level of engagement with the bondholders and also a credible plan. That is the only way. Other than that, it's going to be complicated. If the government is unable to make sufficient progress with the restructuring of the domestic debt, it doesn't send a good signal with the restructuring of the external debt, because government under the program is hoping to obtain about $10 billion in terms of debt relief from the external debt restructuring. That's quite huge.
Professor Godfrey Bokpin is an economist and a finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. That's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. It was powered by your most comprehensive business website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Ni Lati. Up next is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Hey, you ever buy credits where you get up to 20% of your money back before? Make I tell you about Vodafone's demo promo. See, anytime you recharge a demo, you get up to 20%, whether it be short code or your Vodafone cash wallet, or you use credit transfer to your number or someone else. And now you be high tech, so you use my Vodafone app or any payment app. However you do, Vodafone go send you up to 20% cash back into your Vodafone cash account. Reload here. Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana cedi or more in Vodafone's demo promotion and receive 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone demo promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Bobo, so how your engine now? It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Quartz and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. My name is Umaru Sandama. Tonight on Point Blank, the New Patriotic Party is looking for a flag bearer and also parliamentary candidates. My guest on Point Blank tonight has been involved in NPP activities for many years. He has led campaigns, sponsored campaigns, and fallen out with campaigns. He was also a leader of youth groups, the Progressive Nationalist Forum PNF, the Young Patriots, leading demonstrations on the streets of Accra against John Dramani Mahama. His name is Richard Nyama. He was a deputy director of communications at the New Patriotic Party headquarters. Richard, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Umar.
How are you?
Oh, so.
I was just giving your historical accolades. What's your current status? What are you doing?
My current status, the most important of all, deputy spokesperson and deputy director of communications for the Alan Chermantin campaign.
That's what you are doing now. That's your new preoccupation.
Yeah, politically. Privately, I do my own stuff, my own private business. So.
But you're not on the streets demonstrating again.
Oh.
To ask for the CD to be stabilized, to ask for the price of petrol to go down.
When I have to do it, I do it.
You don't do that. You haven't done that since 2017.
Since 2017. Yes, you might be right. I probably will be in the offing.
I'll talk to you about your own intent to go to Parliament using the Kwandai constituency as a route. But before then, how is the Alan campaign going, and why did you choose to join Alan?
The Alan campaign is like it's like a locomotive. It's emotion, and it's gathered so much mass. Everybody wants to be part of it, and I couldn't be prouder that I'm playing a major significant role in that process. I am convinced beyond reasonable doubt that come 4th of November, Alan Kojo-Chirmantin would be the presidential candidate of the NPP.
And not Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, whom you campaigned for in 2012, 2016.
Definitely not.
Why not?
And he will be the next president of the Republic of Ghana on the 7th of January, 2025. I'm convinced beyond reasonable doubt. My spirit and my being tells me that is what is going to happen. And even against odds, if you remember the Freddie Blee one, it was the same thing. Yeah, but that's how I convinced I was. And it came to pass. It shall pass as well.
But usually political parties want to sell someone who has already been marketed. The vice president has been marketed even before the party won the election, and even in the course of the governance, he's still been marketed. Why don't you send someone who has been on all the billboards in the past before, who has interacted with the people in the past?
The vice president, unfortunately, my brother, has never stood in any election in this country. He's never been on any ballot paper, not at the assembly level, not at the polling station level. The best he's been is the running mate of the current president. And it's only the president's image that is on the ballot paper. He's never been. He's been fortunate. He's had 8 years as a running mate for the MPP in opposition, and he's having 8 years as a running, the vice president, the substantive vice president of the Republic with Nana Addo. 16 years at the helm of affairs. I think that is enough. The party needs to rebrand, restructure, and present a new face, because everything on the ground, even within the MPP, indicates that the party and Ghana is craving for a new face.
Now, you're saying that you cannot sell the records of Akufo-Addo's government. Is that why you don't want his running mate to be on the ballot for you? If that's the case, then who are you going to campaign on, or whose track record are you going to campaign on?
No, I didn't say that.
Yes, but if I'm
saying that Akufo-Addo's tenure is over. It will be over 7th January 2025, right? He will hand over to a new government. I remember Akufo-Addo in 2007 telling President Kufuor that his tenure is up and he should go with Nkunkun Kaka, albeit pack bag and baggage and go. I don't think anything has changed. The vice president then, if we're going by this particular preamble, would have been the most sold then, because he was vice president for 8 years and should have led us. And we ran on the record of John Ajekun Kufuor, who is still being celebrated today. He left us in a very good place. And yet we lost the elections in the second round in 10. And so it's not a given.
Okay. So for you, it's going to be an Alan thing. Let's move on to your personal matters. You want to go to Parliament. Why?
Yes. Bandai has had a mixed bag of fortunes. We had, from 92, former MP Lekpolomo in the saddle for 20 years.
Terry Lekpolomo?
Yes.
For NDC?
For NDC. And people lamented. At a point, they needed to see his back, and that was exactly what happened. Whoever was leading the MPP then was likely to win. Mind you, in 2008, Dr. Bo, I am convinced, won that seat, but at the critical point in counting, the lights went out, and somehow, when the lights came back on, the figures changed. He lost by 500. 2012, we took the seat back for the first time from the NDC. I had contested in 2011, and I lost it to the then candidate who became our MP, Matthew Nyindam, for the first time in the MPP's history in 2012. 2015, we were supposed to go for a delegates conference to elect somebody to lead us. But I took the decision that, considering the fact that we had just won it the first time, 3 years ago from the NDC in 20 years, it wasn't reasonable that I go trying to snatch it from beneath his feet. And so we should consolidate. And then I went to the Congress grounds, raised his hand and said I wasn't going to contest him. Let's maximize the resources, the little resources we had, without internal wrangling. And so for the unity of purpose of the party, let's go ahead and then unanimously endorse him. And we did so. That's 2015. 2019, we still had the seat.
So Martin Nyindam won in 2016?
Yes, he won in 2016.
So 2012 you won,
yeah.
2016 you won.
Yes, and then 2019 we were supposed to have a Congress again.
Mm-hmm.
But I still took that decision that as long as the MPP was in charge and had a seat, I wasn't going to contest it.
So for the second time...
Yes, and there was a lot of development that the MPP had brought. I'm telling you, in 2011 when I was contesting, there wasn't a single tarred road in the whole of Pandai. Water was a problem, though we have a lot of rivers running through the place. Electricity was a major issue. Health was an issue. Now, I drive from Dambai, which is the capital of Oti, to Pandai in 30 minutes. Previously, it would have taken me about 4 hours because you're driving on rocks to get to Pandai. The MPP has done all this. We've brought in, we even have a nursing training school. We've extended electricity. We've tarred the town roads in Pandai. It's never seen before. Extended to Bimbila and Willinsea, going to Salaga. We've done a lot of massive development under Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. Okay? And yet, miraculously, we lost the seat. It comes down to not...
So you lost it in 2020?
2020.
To who?
To Nsala.
Okay.
Now, it tells me that it's not the projects that we brought that the people are against, but it's down to the person that we are presenting.
So Nyindam was a problem?
Was a problem, significantly so. Else, they should diagnose why we lost that election. Everyone was in shock. He was a leader in parliament. The party had brought a lot of resources and development to the area, and yet we lost the seat. It must be the X factor, him. So we lost it. And I'm like, no. And I was warned. A team came to me asking me, look, you better show, else we'll lose this seat. I said, look, there's no way it's going to happen because looking at what we have done so far, no government since independence can claim this in Pandai. So I am 100% sure that they were going to vote for us. And then we lost it. So I thought, no, I need to bring some freshness and a new face and new strategy to the party and to reclaim it. Because the people keep telling us that, look, if you brought someone else, we think that you deserve the chance to continue. But the same person won't wash. And that's why I'm putting myself out.
I see. So you want to be the new person to lead the NPP there because you think that your former MP has lost it, and so it's time for you to then come and then save the constituency.
Yes.
Beyond doing this because you want to win the election for the NPP or the constituency for the NPP, what are the issues that you think need developing or addressing in the constituency that you think you can drive? Because you've already said that developments, you've already done everything. So what are you going to develop?
I didn't say we've done everything. I said we've done more than anyone else. We've done a lot. But you see, that is where there's a link between general infrastructure development and personal enhancement, personal development. So we are part of the most remote part of this country. So general amenities that people in Accra and elsewhere would take for granted. are heaven to us. Okay, but thanks to the NPP Nanado government, we've had those things. But poverty levels, personal development is still very low. You take teacher to student ratio, you take health, nurses and doctors to patient ratio, you take potable water, electricity penetration. These things are still challenges. Then come to personal development such as levels of education, still very low. Job availability, okay? About 90% of the folks there are into farming, and yet there are no opportunities for them to process and enhance their products. About 70% of the products get rotten at the farm gates because we're not able to cut them to the final consumer. And when we do, it's so at such a cheap price, it doesn't help us. So I'm looking at a situation where the government has brought the infrastructure that should enhance the personal development of the people. And so my focus is that going forward, we'll have to look at personal development, job opportunities, penetrating in terms of higher education levels, increasing access to healthcare, among others. So that I'll give you an example. As one of the major developments I want to bring to them, knowing that majority of them are into agriculture, is access to agric inputs, okay, fertilizers, insecticides, inputs like.
What are the main farm crops that come out of Pandai?
Yam, cassava, maize.
Is Pandai a district?
Yeah, it's a district.
Do you have
Kufuor made it a district in 2008.
Do you have an Akufado district factory?
No, we don't.
Why? It means you failed the people. So that's the reason that you lost the seat.
No.
And that's why
it's not. I'm saying that we couldn't have done everything.
No, but one district, one factory.
District, one
you
factory.
You said you do it everywhere.
Yes. We came up to Nkwanta, for instance, in the Oti region have.
That's Nkwanta, but I'm talking about Pandai.
Pandai, yes. Is one.
Is there even one in the offing? Is there even one that has been discussed?
I have had that discussion with my boss. We are looking at having
the same boss you are representing is the one who's supposed to have sent the district there.
Yes,
he didn't put a factory in Pandai, and you are on his campaign team, and you think that the people vote for you.
Since I met him, they have this youth in the industrialization program that he has introduced. That has about 50 across board, where some youth are being trained.
He's no more minister for trade.
Yes. But there's a program that he introduced at the ministry that is currently ongoing. And through his efforts, whilst he was there and I met him, Pandai, I have been given some slots. In actual fact, single-handedly, I have the highest in the country for Pandai. I wouldn't want to reveal all of it. But strategically, we have even located where we'll have these factories at the farm gates producing. And these are young people who have finished university with certification in agric and some other backgrounds, where we're helping them to improve.
But Reggie, my point is that you are supporting Alan Koyo Chemantin.
Yes.
He was Minister of Trade for 6 years.
Yes.
Almost 7 years. Actually, 7 years, I think.
6.
Yeah, 6 to 7.
He left January 7th.
Okay,
6 years.
So 6 years. You are supporting him. You're going to take him around the country and tell the people to vote for him. And you are going to tout one district, one factory as one of the reasons.
It's one of the biggest.
In the constituency that you want to run, he has not brought a factory there.
Yes.
How can you convince your people to vote for him in this
It is
primary?
not only my constituency that has not had a
I know,
factory.
but I'm talking about your constituency, because first of all, you have to showcase him in the constituency and win his. You cannot campaign for him and win the whole nation and fail your constituency.
And I'm saying that out of the whole of this country, getting 50 of the youth starting their own factories, okay, rural industries, have been given a quota that is about 10% of what is going to the whole of the country.
Who gave it to you? Who gave it to you?
The ministry.
The ministry or the minister?
The ministry.
Because you work for the minister?
No.
Because you are campaigning for the minister?
I had that.
Why did they give it to you then?
This is a recent thing because I have made a case.
They gave it to you under Katie Hammond?
Yes, I made the case of how deprived my area is and the commodities or products that can come out of that place that could be actually processed to that industrial level that will bring returns to not just the constituency but the country. Yam is a major thing. Cassava is a major product. If you remember the starch processing factory that he introduced some time back.
Under PSI?
PSI, yes.
They have all collapsed, haven't they?
Yeah, the NDC sold themselves to themselves. They didn't collapse.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I have challenged the what do you call him? The former chairman of NDC to Central Region. What do you call him?
Was there one in your locality? Was any of the PSIs in your area?
No.
Okay.
None of them. Okay. But my locality was producing the cassava to feed those the starch factories.
Okay.
So the industrialization drive was affecting virtually all those areas.
Your party promised 1 million per constituency. Has that money been released to your constituency? Do you know?
Oh, I think the first time it was released, I know it at least it went about twice.
And
subsequently, I am not in the position to say.
So that's also going to be a problem for you, don't you think?
Oh, why am I the president? Am I the DC?
No,
I don't disburse those funds.
No, you are the NPP parliamentary hopeful.
Yes.
You are using the elephant as your logo.
Yes.
The elephant promised
the
to bring 1 million.
couldn't have done everything within the 8 years. They did. Okay. Provide some of the things they said. So if the promise was that we'll provide 1 million per constituency, and we did, and at a point we had to look elsewhere, at least there's a record that it has been done.
Okay.
Not like say it hasn't been done.
Do you have an E-block in Pandai?
Yes.
So Mahama built and left a school for you, and you think that you can win his seat?
But
have you built a secondary
I'm saying
school?
that we beat him to it then.
What did you do?
We beat him to even in with the E-block.
But maybe the
E-block didn't end. In actual fact, the E-block was being put up in my village, Jambwai.
Okay.
About 5 miles out of the town. Okay.
They said that was the idea of the day school.
Yes,
it was not supposed to be a boarding school.
Well, I'm saying that with all that, at the height of it, we beat the NDC.
But they've come back for their seat in 2020.
Oh, yes.
So if they tell the people that they built it, have you built any secondary school since you came into office in that place?
In Pandai?
No. Yes.
No, you see.
Okay. How about a chief's compound? Have you built any chief's compound?
We have.
Where?
And we have built what do we call it? A nursing training college.
No, chief's compound, hospital.
A
clinic, a health center. Have you built any?
Yes.
Where?
I think we have we've done about 4 of them. I can't readily tell you on top of my constituency.
Under this
in
government.
actual fact, we expanded the district hospital, and it was I think they have a way of they have the district to municipal and those yes it's been expanded and upgraded yes. When we came, it didn't even have a single ambulance. Now it has several.
Okay.
You get it.
Okay.
So these improvements have come.
We need to go now, but just a quick one. The national economic challenges. How are you going to wriggle yourself out in that constituency when you go to the polls?
When we go to the polls, every government has its challenges and its strengths. I can tell you the strengths of this government largely are those that Alan Kojo Chiremantin is touting. For instance, the one district, one factory you mentioned. Yes, you have I think 93 constituencies that are massively affected in terms of that. You have, since independence, no government has been able to establish an automobile industry, right? He's done that, and we have about 7 of them currently operating. They are actually going to the extent of doing spare parts manufacturing. That has an effect on the value chain of the aluminium industry and our mining sector. So, and if you care to know, as a result of the one district, one factory and this automobile industry, today, since 2020, Ghana has a trade surplus. Okay. Are you aware of that?
What's the most widely spoken language in
Pandai?
Yeah.
It's
That's the most widely spoken.
Yes.
Okay, can you speak it?
I understand it, but I'm not.
Okay,
yes.
but
So
I wanted to give you an opportunity to use 30 seconds to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
You can speak the other ones then.
Yes, I can speak in Chumuru,
okay.
Nauri.
Okay, so you can speak one. Just 30 seconds. Tell the MPP delegates that they should vote for you and mention your name.
To make Biakano. Menifia me bamba yere MPP ayaro samne. Urwari asuri cry next week ane ba na ba file ane file lowe. Baby making amba. Me tia ala namba mne. Na anabuwa ane constituency there back pandai. Ane abamo me pa mun kapu ala no fie. Oba mai. Obo fu pandai wi akoromo waro. Na pandai wi ane pe yerema kamea obo kori tumio sane. Anso me krone ane aba manle ba mun be chanero. Na ungu fie oba mai.
Oh, thank you so much. That's Richard.
You are bringing in the Burnley and Hausa combined.
It's deliberate. We can bully you.
That's where your strength is.
That's where my strength. Thank you so much, Richard. I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
So that's Richard Nyama, a member of the New Patriotic Party who wants to be the party's parliamentary candidate in the Kwandai constituency. He's also a Deputy Communications Director of the Alan Kojo Tramantin campaign. That would be it for Eyewitness News tonight. My name is Umaru Sanda Amado. Production by Kwabna Wilson. I did this show with Eno Safo. Sami Wiafi was also part of the production tonight. Technical support from Daniel Squashi. Edwin Kwakofi was handling new media for us. Thank you. Have a good evening.